Welcome to another episode of 90 Minutes of Wisdom, the channel dedicated to helping you expand your knowledge and develop a more successful and peaceful mind. My guest today currently lives in Nasik, India, and is the founder of Swayam Connect, a company that is dedicated to helping people connect to their true self. Currently, he is focused on serving people by designing and teaching simple yet effective tools and techniques that help bring peace, love, and joy to all life situations. Please welcome to the show, Pravin Gambhir. Welcome, Pravin.
Namaste, Andrew, and thank you so much for having me here on the show. I'm really excited about the talk that we are going to have. And it gives me a pleasure that we are connecting across the world. We are 2 poles apart, and still we are connecting through this medium and through this cause of, bringing out the best of people, giving our best energies so that, it helps people. So really honored to be here.
Thank you so much, Pravin. And I feel the same way. I feel like this energy. I mean, we met through Maria, right? And she's a wonderful soul, and what an amazing person. And I love her energy. And it's so interesting how each person, because I met her through a lady named Rebecca, who's great. And then I met Rebecca through a friend of mine named Jeremy. So it's just kind of going through this wonderful like mind, like energy, similar energies that are coming together. And I feel so blessed because it's really been the universe providing. Just without me, I don't go and send emails, call people, can you come to my show, I just do what I normally do, meditate, pray, and then wonderful people like yourself join me for these talks. So
that's what we were talking about just before starting this interview, that as long as you have the right intentions, I think that's the starting point. And if you have the right intentions, things just happen in a flow. That's how my work has been, and I am glad that's your work as well. And even before we start, my all the best wishes for 90-second wisdoms. It's a wonderful work that you're doing. Generally, it takes a lot of time to impart some wisdom into anyone, but you're doing it in 90 seconds. That's commendable.
Thank you so much. Okay, so Pravin, do you want to just tell the listener and myself a little bit more about Swayam Connect? So cool, and how you started it and when you started it, and a little bit about it, please.
Swayam Connect, literally, if you see, the meaning is connecting with yourself. Swayam itself means yourself, the true self. How this happened for me, I was never into training or any kind of training development per se. I have been into sales industry. I have worked with insurance sales. I have worked with real estate. I have been a hotelier myself. Somewhere there was always this calling. So no matter whatever I did, I was always focused on how I can help more people. That came naturally to me, I think. And 5-6 years back around, I happened to join an organization which was completely into entrepreneurial development. And last 5 years, we together trained more than 5,000 entrepreneurs, ranging from a startup business, maybe 100,000 turnover, to millions of turnover. That's the scale of businesses that we were helping grow. What I realized during that entire 5-year span is, growth towards growing your material achievements, growing working towards your dream, working towards your passion. That's all really good. Okay, that brings a lot of how do I put it? So it helps people break their barrier and get out of their comfort zone. But after a certain time, I saw myself and I saw a lot of my other participants really not satisfied with the growth itself. When it was only the businesses were growing, okay, it was only materialistic growth which was happening. Somewhere that dissatisfaction was there, and I could sense it. Okay, like if somebody asked me what was the evidence, what made you see that, I don't know. Okay, I can't like put up, I can pinpoint a certain thing which made me see that this is what I don't like. But something was within me telling me that this is not what the whole work is all about. That's where a realization happened that more than making people achieve more materialistically, why don't we help them grow as an individual, as a person? When your roots are deep enough, whatever fruits, whether you're a mango seed or you're an apple seed, the, the relevant fruits will happen. The idea is to work on the roots, and that gave me the whole idea of creating something which will help people connect to themselves on a platform which is not just spiritual. Okay, there was a lot of time I had this mindset, the work that I'm doing, I must move to Himalayas, and I think I can become a yogi over there and surrender to a guru and maybe carry forward his work. But then there was also always a calling that currently I have also, I am married to a wonderful lady, Neha. I have two sons, so I have my own responsibilities in terms of my commitments towards my family. So there is definitely a goal to achieve certain materialistic things, but beyond that, I also want to grow spiritually. And that's where this gap I could see, that whenever there is a training, it is either about achieving materialistic things, or we are talking about giving up all the desires and just work on your spiritual aspect. So that's where it hit me that why not create a platform where people can grow spiritually and express it in a material world. So when you're growing your roots, okay, it expresses through fruits only, right? You can't see what is there beneath the ground. You can only judge how good a tree is grown by the flowering or maybe the fruits that it is growing. But the issue is that when you only focus on the fruits, we tend to forget the roots. So why not create a platform where people develop their roots, where people focus on developing the roots and expressing it through their materialistic growth, and a growth which will be more inclusive, uh, a growth which will always include the well-being of everyone. So that was the whole idea. That was the whole idea where it all
That's so
started.
it's so beautiful. I'm gonna interrupt you for once. It's so beautiful. Everything you said and the way you said it so poetically about like the roots and and again we're so on the same wavelength. Like, once I was talking with someone I can't remember recently in a podcast and was saying a an orange seed will always produce an orange. An apple seed will always produce an apple. There's never a mistake by nature. So, and I
Yes.
think your thoughts of is so well said. The root of it, not the surface, not what you see with your eyes, but so important. The intention, the root, and what kind of seed are you planting?
Yes.
So then you'll have the fruits of that seed and not any other. So you can try
Or
to
not any other.
trick
Yes.
people or trick yourself and say, I'm planting I'm planting this seed here. Oh, don't worry everybody, we're gonna have this, it's amazing seed. But if your intention is off, if you're and then the roots start growing wrong, by the time it manifests through the
Hmm.
earth on the other side, it's always going to be correct to incorrect proportion to the seed that you planted. Yes.
And that's where a lot of that's where I keep telling people that that's where our sensory organs on which we rely. Okay, so we rely, how do we communicate with this world? We communicate with our sensory organs, right? We communicate, we are taking the inputs from all the five sensory organs, and that is how we are being deceived in a way also. Why I say so is because all these sensory organs are focused outside. Okay, and when you're completely focused outside, you are trying to copy something from the other. Okay, generally it's not you who's deciding the brand of a car that you're going to buy. It's your neighbor who's deciding it, because neighbor has bought an XYZ brand, so you are up for towards that. So constantly living an outside in life, constantly looking at what is there outside and trying to replicate that and bring that within us, that is where we are going wrong massively. I think that is where we are deceiving our own selves, because within me, there might be a seed of an orange, But then I see an apple tree doing fantastic and apples are selling better. So why don't I try and plant an apple tree as well? that that puts you in a whole struggle. Okay, that puts you in a whole struggle. So one of the key thing that I try to work with my participants in the program that I conduct is try and find your purpose. Okay, try and find the calling that each one of us has. See, if I relate it with nature, if you look at any tree, okay, a tree has thousands of leaves on it. No two leaves are going to be identical. Okay, no two leaves are going to be ever identical. There's going to be something unique about each leaf. Similarly, all the people that we have, all the humans that we have, no two humans are identical. Everybody is unique. Unfortunately, we have not created systems and structures in our education and in our society to address that uniqueness. All we are trying to do, even as a parent, as a school teacher, in our education system, in our society, we are trying to categorize people. Okay, we want to categorize people. We want to, because it is easy to manage. If you have 100 people to manage, even if you have two children to manage at house, if both are identical, it is easy, right? You learn one particular design and then you just replicate it with the other one. But that's where we are killing the uniqueness of each individual. Okay, and when I look at the ancient education system of India, why India was so rich in terms of so many aspects. Okay, uh, 1,000 years back, we had the architectural geniuses over here. If you visit some of the temples of India, they are literally architectural geniuses. Uh, Textile, okay, the kind of fabrics that India was making 1,000 years back, those fabrics were that time being imported by European countries. Okay, so where was this coming from? The whole education system or the whole upbringing was towards trying to nurture that uniqueness in each one.
Yeah.
Okay, and before you give them a desire to work towards something, the entire education was working towards establishing the mind, emotion, and energies in such a way that a person can handle a particular desire. You can stick to one particular desire. That was the education system. Unfortunately, over the periods, due to so many invasions, a lot of things got lost, and we lost our practices of developing an individual to handle its desire,
Mm.
because we don't know how to handle desires. Okay, we are copying the desires from everyone. We are copying the desire of this person and trying to implement in my life, and then we don't even know how to handle it. So somewhere we started saying that desire is the root cause of all the problems. Desire is never the root cause of the problems. The problem is we don't know how to handle the desire. Which desire to nurture? Which desire am I focusing on? And what is it that I become? While, whenever you have a desire, the next thing is you try to achieve it. You try to move towards it. But when I'm moving towards a desire, what does that process make me as a person? That has to be the focus, I believe.
That's
And
that's
that
so
that
that's so well said, Pravin. I've never, in all my things, I've never heard it quite said so well as you just said it there, as explained it there. So thank you. Because yes, I've always heard this same thing. It's your destroy ambition, destroy desire. This is what's but I like what you said there. It's not about destroying the desire. It's about understanding the desire and what is
it's
yours.
about, in fact, I would say, understanding and deep rooting it to such a way that it transforms me as a person.
Hmm.
Okay, so when we're talking about desire, let's talk about a simple thing as a desire. There is an innate desire to live. That's why we are ongoingly breathing, right? Whether you're conscious about it or you're not conscious about it, body has a desire to survive. The life within us has a desire to survive. So whether you focus or you don't focus, this breath is on, right? Where is this breath coming from? There is a desire of this energy to live and to grow. Okay. If you look at an atom, okay, if you look at an atom, if we really go to the minutes of this creation, an atom, there is a nucleus and there is an electron proton running around that entire nucleus. Now, if that nucleus doesn't have a desire to hold on to this electron and proton, it will just fall apart. right? There is a deep rooted desire. There is a desire in this earth revolving around the sun. There is a desire of the moon which holds it next to. We call it gravity. You may name anything. Okay, you may name it anything. But there is some desire which is attaching everything together. Otherwise, it just falls apart. So desire is not an issue. Okay, one of the saints of India, Swami Vivekananda, he says that the best way to live is take up one thing in life. Okay, and devote everything about you. Let your body cells, let your blood cells, okay, let each ounce of your energy be dedicated towards that one thing. Now, what is that object that you're desiring? That's not that relevant. As long as you can commit completely to that desire. Today, what happens is because that desire is not mine, that desire I have copied from Andrew, and Andrew changes. Andrew changes into something. My desire changes. So every moment I'm just changing my directions. And that, I believe, is causing people more pain, more agony, more than anything else. Okay,
Yes. Oh, wow. Again, amazing, amazingly well said. Mind blowing. But yeah, I agree. And there's a couple of points on that I wanted to make real quick. Was one is to say that identifying, and one of the easiest way to think about it is saying a squirrel and a fish. So the best squirrel, the best squirrel, the fastest one that could climb the best, will never swim, even like the worst fish ever. And the best, quickest fish will never be able to climb like the slowest squirrel. So if you're a fish and you want to be a squirrel, there's a problem right there, with this desire. So identifying who you really are, always the first question, who am I, is a very difficult one, I think, for many people to get, even not saying to a sense of perfection. I don't think for myself I have a level of perfection of understanding who I am, not even close, but to just keep getting deeper and deeper to understand that. And I know what you mean too, is this switching those things. Today I want this, tomorrow I want that, or looking what somebody else has. But they're a different animal or different purpose and different soul path, right? And different goal for your personal development of your soul. So again, I explain it too, like saying, like, you have two different, the other person has a different exam or a different test. So if you cheat off him, how,
you're obviously failing.
You're failing. So, pay attention to your own exam. Understand the questions on your exam. Look at that.
There is a catch in that. What I have seen when I work with participants, when I started my work, okay, because I was in touch with my purpose of life. So I thought each one of them can be in touch with purpose of their life. Okay. But when I worked with a lot of participants, I saw that there is a particular time that purpose get revealed to you. Okay, it's not that at birth you know what is it this soul is desiring. Okay, so there are times. Somebody might get it very early, somebody might get it at a different stages of life. So till the time you have not really found out what's my purpose, then how to handle things. Okay, and that was my question. That was my query for last 6-8 months. I've been inquiring over the same thing. That in fact, in my work also, I was struggling. I could see that some of them are quickly getting, you have certain conversations with them, you do certain work with them, and they could easily get, okay, this is my purpose of life. This is the one thing that I want to really achieve in my life. There, a lot of people don't get that. Okay. And then I think I was trying to push it onto them. Okay. And then they would again try and pick up something which looks relevant now. Thank God some wisdom came to me as well. And then I inquired, is it about the purpose only? Last 6 months of my study and the work that I was constantly inquiring that. And the answers that I've been getting, it's that when the time comes, you will be given your purpose. Then, what is to be done? Okay, that is a key thing that I think we should educate ourselves into, is that till the time you find an ultimate purpose of life, what is important is there is something that you're doing involved in right now. Whatever is your work, whether it is your job, whether you're taking care of a family, whether you're doing a social service, whatever is the nature of the job, irrelevant of that, can I organize my mind, emotion and energy in such a way that something which doesn't even look very important in a whole picture, might be my work doesn't look that important, it might appear that way, but for me that's my one thing right. Let's say if I'm sweeping a floor right now, is my mind, emotion, and my energies completely aligned towards at least sweeping the floor? Now, that is something that is missing in our education. That is something that we need to learn. Even before that purpose get revealed to you, how to handle our mind, emotion, and energy, and come to an alignment within it. Today, what is happening is mind is somewhere else, my emotions is some attached to something else, and my energy I have no access to. Okay, I have absolutely no access to what my energies are saying. So even before the purpose will come, when it comes, it's not that you can work hard towards getting a purpose. It is something that gets revealed within you. Okay, uh, might be my knowledge about it might be limited. That's why I see it that way. But out of my experience, I see that purpose will come. I then learn how to manage your mind, emotion, and energy, because that is where, again, that is another reason why we struggle so much. It's and that's the tools. Then I started working on certain tools. Then I started working on certain techniques which will help people ongoingly have an alignment between their mind, body, and energy.
Wow. Wow. Really good. Really good. I wouldn't, I think that's such an amazing, profound view on it. Because I wouldn't know, previous to this, I wouldn't know how to answer that, that what you said. And so thank you. I really learned something there. Because it is like I find it sometimes difficult to relate to certain people because of the more you go deep yourself and the more you read and the more you understand, the more you meditate, you start getting these things, and then you realize no judgment ever, and you understand each person's on their path, but you say, well, how can I start them in the right direction, because where I am and where they are is very, very different place. And I think that's amazing. What you said is basically being mindful, right? Being full mindfulness. And I've heard of this thing, but never quite like that. Where I practice thing like if you're washing the dishes, wash every last dish, do it well. If whatever you're doing, like you said, sweep the floor, sweep it, take pride in it. Sweep every last corner, make it beautiful. And when you're sweeping, you're thinking of this task and only this task, right? That you're laser focused. And then the other thing I really like that you said is a few times you mentioned the one thing, and this is I don't know if you ever read the book called The One Thing.
Yes, yes. I'm very much inspired by Gary Keller
Fantastic.
and Jerry's work on the book called One Thing. It's an
Fantastic.
amazing piece of work, I see.
Yes, and
I
that's
recommend that book to a lot of my participants, and we do a study on that. What the content that book has, it's so enriching. It is so, although it looks towards achieving your financial goal, your business goal, but it has a lot of spiritual understanding behind coming to that technology, behind coming to that whole approach of one thing. Is so spiritual as well as helping you achieve those things that you are really looking forward for. So it's an
absolutely.
amazing work.
Yeah, it is, and again, it's your, as you said so well before, like your desire, your intention, and then which are the quality of the question. So you can wake up, like I wake up, ever since I did the audio book, and it was recommended to me by a good friend of mine, and I wake up and say, okay, well, what's the one thing I need to do today that makes everything else unimportant or something like that. So I have this intention. What's one thing? But then you can ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do to help the most amount of people today? Right?
Mm.
What's the one thing I can do? And it's amazing because you can think of this thing. Okay, this is one thing I'll do to make somebody smile. This is one thing I'll do to raise. What's the one thing I could do to raise my own energy today? What's the one thing I can do to take a step closer to God? Would be a great question.
Yes. So uh, About the one thing that book has really helped me as well. That contributes to a significant amount of work that we do in our programs. We help all the participants understand that book really well and actually try and implement it because it really transforms everything about you. I have seen people really transform their energies, their mental peace, the way they organize their work, the way they approach their work. Everything changes. Everything changes when you are focused on that one thing. Because see, that's all. Every aspect that we work on, everything that we are working on, it's end of the day a declaration. Okay, a declaration of what? A declaration of who you are. Okay, we think that only in those moments when I am talking about my intention, when I talk about my higher purpose, that's where I'm making a declaration about who I am. But that's not so. Every moment, every time, we are making it, we are in ongoing conversation with universe. Okay, and in Hindi there is a wonderful word called tathastu. The tathastu means so be it. So whatever you declare, whatever through your thought actions, through your emotion actions, and through your energy actions or your bodily actions, you are constantly declaring to the universe who I am, and universe is just saying one thing: tathastu, so be it. Okay. So what one thing does is it brings the focus within you that right now, whatever is important, I am giving my best towards it. Okay, and that one thing is helping me transform. That's my declaration that I am ready to be focused, I am ready to be disciplined, I am ready to be the kind of person who doesn't get distracted, I am ready to be the kind of person who is getting out of my comfort zone and performing my actions. So yeah,
Very
I
cool.
can I can keep speaking about one thing a lot because I have a lot of respect for what Gary and Jerry, both of them, has done in that book, and their entire team is wonderful.
Yeah, that's cool. You seem like very, 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 very cool book, very knowledgeable, and using. I think you have not only a deep understanding, but a very cool way to look at it. Again, marrying the thoughts of spirituality, intention, these kind of things with their tool, using that tool. I'll say another, like, you can use a hammer to build a house or to break a window. So I think that the tool is the tool, and how you use the tool. The same way with a musical instrument, someone could come and be a master and play beautiful song, and someone else can come to, let's say, a piano, and hit a few notes. It's not so desirable. Same tool, not so desirable, the outcome,
Exactly.
right? So I think that the way that, yes, the tools in that book are amazing, and I think that um, you figured out how to use this tool in a very, very efficient way. So that's really
More
good.
than I saying that I figured it out, I think it also got revealed to me with the intention and the purpose that I have.